how do you compartmentalize everything? Because there's a lot of nuances and things like that. Like, how do you as a team know, and for those listening that want to be a founder of a company at some point, or maybe they are, and they have this struggling issue where they have to compartmentalize when to deploy AI, when to deploy the human being. And I know you mentioned the EQ, and then on the other quadrant, the the IQ.
IQ.
But how do you know though, like where to put it though? Like, do you guys have like a huge diagram of some sort, a wall in the office, and you guys kind of like write it down? And
we do it by department and by task. So we basically draw it out on a diagram and say, which quadrant does this fall into? And then based on the quadrant, is AI the best use case or is it a human? And then that's how, and it's department specific. And with anything, like, a company has a list of 5,000 things that need to be done. And so you take your biggest problems, the biggest things you need done, and you draw it on that diagram. And then you say, is AI the right solution to this problem, or should I use humans? And and that's where I worry about some of the AI companies. I mean, we're in Silicon Valley. I worry about some of them coming out that they're going to spend the next 3 years fooling themselves that they'll be able to get there without being able to balance those and have that balancing act and know what to do, especially in real estate. As you know, real estate is the last to get disrupted of any industry, in part because it's a people business, it's physical assets. There's a bit more to it.
And when looking at companies that are all these new companies coming out into the future or now, is there something that we as the consumer or even an investor of stock may want to look at? Do we look at the founder of how they explain the AI, and will we see something missing in terms of how they explain like when they're utilizing it, rather than just throwing it all out there and saying AI is everywhere, we're using it in every single thing? I don't know if that makes sense.
It depends. Yeah. So for the company, it depends on your relationship with that company. Let's just say it is a company you're looking to invest in,
Mm-hmm.
right? It depends on the stage. If it's in very early stage, whether or not they're using AI or anything doesn't matter. At an early stage, if the company is just starting out, all that matters is people. Because a smart person will be able to say exactly what I said and will be able to figure that out, right? And if they have that logic and that thoughtfulness and that process to break things down and like unpeel the onion,
Right.
They're going to be able to figure it out.
Okay.
So early stage, I'll talk about investing and then I'll talk about being a customer of a company.
Okay.
Early stage investing is about the people. Just who is this person? Are they going to pull all-nighters every night? Are they going to work around the clock? And are they going to stop at nothing to get this done? And by the way, are they freaking smart that they'll be able to figure it out? That's all I care about, like with angel investing. Once you get to, there's kind of this middle ground, like Series C to Series A or B, which is a bit wobbly because they have some numbers, not great numbers. So again, it comes down to team, a little bit of the team plus the product. Once you get past that, once you get to Series C and D, it's all just about metrics and growth. The team, I mean, if the founder's an asshole, or the founders, you probably don't want to invest in them. Otherwise, it's about just what the numbers look like and then what their product roadmap looks like. And do you think they can execute on it based on the past 12 months?
Okay.
So that, I think, is on the investing side. And also, I think that's just as important when you are looking to join a company, because it's really like, hey, how smart are these people? How big is the problem they're solving? And like, do I believe they're the one?
How can you tell who's smart though? Because a good salesperson, the car salesman, someone really good can like BS their way into making you think they have this high IQ. And I think a lot of it comes down to IQ.
Yeah, it's so true. Salespeople are the worst because of that, because they're so good at sales. So well, and I've seen this with my experience of hiring and offboarding certain salespeople. If you drill down and ask, but why, but how, like a good someone who's a salesperson who doesn't know the product, isn't very smart and isn't very thoughtful, will sell you the world and sell you the vision. But then when you say, and they're like, oh, of course we can do that. Of course we can do that feature. But then you say, but how? Show me how. Go into your app and show me how you do that. Okay, wait, but why are you doing it this way? If they can't logically think and you're drilling into things, into the details, they don't know what they're doing. And so that's like a very easy way to do it. The other way I would say is like, I try to, especially when I'm hiring people, they should do the same to us as I do to them. I try to get them out of their normal, typical setting. So, like a Zoom call is great for an intro. I'm trying to figure out culturally, do they fit in? Personality wise, you can't change personality. So, do they have a personality of perseverance? They're going to go through everything. They're going to be dedicated. They're loyal. They're going to figure stuff out and they're going to stop at nothing to do it. And then, like, how smart are they? And they don't actually, smartest people at Hemlane, a lot of them, you've never heard of the college they went to. They went to a no name or community college or no college, but I guarantee if I give them the most complex problem, they can solve it. So I want to separate like education as well. Best team members fall into that category. But then I try to get someone outside of their setting. I try to get them for coffee. I try to get them somewhere where they're almost a little bit more relaxed.
Okay.
And then I have a conversation with them and I learn certain things like, okay, you know, you used to be at retail, you worked at Allo. Yeah, it was, you know, terrible dealing with this particular customer. What was so challenging about it? You know, how did you solve that problem? How did you come out better ahead? Once you start having those conversations in a relaxed setting, you might hear some things that you're like, oh, that's how they solved that problem. That's not how I would recommend it. And so the more you get to know someone, it's dating on both sides, the more you'll know they're a fit. And so that's both on like joining a company as well as having the company have you join them. It's that. And it would be the same if you're an investor in any of these companies.
That all makes total sense. Now, how about on the consumer side? If you're trying to decide between, for example, I guess this is a perfect example, Hemlane versus another one, how would you know? You know, I mean, you've explained to the far extent of what Hemlane is, but
Yeah.
how does a consumer decide on all these new, you know, shiny object of companies?
Yeah. So I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. I think first, do your diligence. Go and get a demo with the companies. Talk to the team. Ask specific questions. You know, when you're in a demo and you have a specific question, don't just ask it and have the salesperson say, "Yeah, we can do that." Be like, "Great, show me how you do it in the app." How do you go through that process and do it? Go look at the reviews online of the company, see what people are saying out there, see how the company has responded to those reviews. All of that is really important in the process and how you do things. But I think as when you're a customer and a consumer looking to use a product, you want to do your diligence, especially when it's your real estate asset. I say it's a huge decision to make, so don't just jump into anything. And someone said it would work for them, so it works for you. You need to understand what's going to work.
Okay, no, that's good. I have more questions for you, but I want to jump back really fast, selfishly for my own case, and also for anyone listening that's a founder or wants to be. There was a time when I used to be in the tech space in Palo Alto for a short minute when I was, I had a startup. But in any case, the diagram you were talking about, where you're able to compartmentalize certain scenarios for a customer utilizing the platform. If it's not a proprietary software, can you mention what you use for that diagram? Or are you literally drawing things out?
Oh, well, that's pretty easy. We'll use Figma typically for a lot of diagrams because it goes straight to design. We'll use FigJam as well. There's other ones that the team uses, but I think for high level, not the like very detailed flows, we'll just use something quick like that. And a lot of times it will just be on like a board, like one of these that they'll like write it out on. and just go ahead and write it all out there and then X things out. Sometimes I find using a computer to do it slows you down. If you get everyone in a room and draw everything out and then X things out and think about things different ways, you get to it faster. And you just say AI, like say AI, like diagram into a diagram.
So you can do that as well.
You can do that as well.
Okay, good. I've been doing a little bit of that, throwing it into like Grok, Super Grok, but also I like that you mentioned those software. What was it again? Started with an F?
Oh, Figma. It's actually what we use for design team, but there's Figma and FigJam. It's the same company, and it's good for brainstorming and collaborating online.
All right. Well, that was a free advice. So anyone listening, make sure to give it a like because that's amazing. I really appreciate with that nugget. But